think I'm actually going to hand it over to KNH to do the most of the introductions, but I guess I'll get started. My name's Jammitch. You probably best know me, if at all, from Crossbeats Rev Sunrise, a rhythm game which I have played for this marathon before. The cabinet is just barely out of the picture on my right. You can't really see it, but it's there. I promise you that thing's 500 pounds. It's not moving. FFR?
Yeah, hello everybody, I'm FFRPro21, Puzzle League, Pound Upon Speedrunner Extraordinaire, who's done a lot of other puzzle games, just like this one that we're going to be doing for you guys tonight.
Okay, I'm a kind of nerdy housewife, and I will be commentating this amazing race today. Jammitch and FFR Pro are the two top runners of this game. They pretty much hold most of the world records for this game between them. I will explain most of the things while the race is going on. So we're gonna get started in 3, 2, 1, go!
So my first question, is there a canon name for the robot?
I don't think so.
No!
There are 7 robots, actually, and they each do have names.
But I think our buddy is not named. So, this Tetrisphere, despite the name, it has literally nothing to do with Tetris. Nintendo just licensed that name to drive sales. This is actually a match 3 puzzle game. So this game has more in common with Candy Crush than it does with Tetris. It is a puzzle game. To start your combo, you have to line up 2 blocks and then drop a 3rd block on top of them to make them start exploding. What's really interesting about this game is that the rectangular pieces, including the squares, behave very differently than the non-rectangular pieces. To create a combo with rectangular pieces, you have to line up a full side of that piece. It can be any side, top side, side, bottom side, whatever you have but they have to be completely side to side. Whereas the rectangular, or the non-rectangular pieces, that's not true at all. So long as some of the surface of one of the non-rectangular pieces is touching some part of the surface of another non-rectangular piece of a matching shape, that will also cause a combo. So it's very interesting in that how the 2 block types sort of play differently. So we are playing rescue mode. The goal of this mode is to dig as deep into this ball as we can and rescue our little friend. The area that we need to clear out for our little friend to escape is different for each level. For most of the early levels, we have to dig out a 2x2 grid, but for some of the later levels, we'll have to dig out a 3x3 grid or a 4x4 grid. Our runners just already know and have memorized what they need to dig out.
It's impressive seeing them selectively use these rocket power-ups to just completely clear part of the sphere.
Yeah. So let me give you a little tour of the gameplay field. On the lower left, you'll see, just like most other puzzle games, you'll see your upcoming pieces. Right above that, you'll see 3 hearts. That is our runner's 3 strikes. If they ever make a invalid combo, so they drop a block and it's not a valid combo, they will receive a strike. If they receive 3 strikes, they will have to restart the level they are on. These runners are both really good though, so it's very unlikely we're gonna see a 3 strikes today. That's very uncommon in this particular category for really good runners. So you'll notice that each of the balls have these little one-off sort of purple blocks with circles in the center. Those are your sort of garbage blocks. They're called crystal blocks. They sort of serve the same purpose as garbage in other puzzle games. You can break them by dragging pieces through them. Did I mention you can move any piece on this ball? It's a match 3 game. Or if you make a combo, any crystal blocks that are touching any part of the combo will also explode. So whenever the runners create a combo, it's a little bit hard to see, but the combo creates a little shower of sparks. And when those sparks land on other blocks in the ball, they change the blocks to a glowy color. These glowy blocks are called power pieces. And power pieces have a few advantages over the regular pieces. The big thing, as I like to say, is they have the uppies. All the normal pieces can be moved. They can fall down, they can move right, left, up or down, but they can't be raised or lowered on the ball. They have to either stay at the height they were or go lower height. They can't jump up a higher height. However, power pieces, you can raise up a one level. The other nice thing about power pieces is if they are used to start a combo, that slows the combo down. And you might be thinking, oh, well, we don't want to slow the combo down. We want to go fast. And that is true, but when you slow a combo down, it's really easy to extend your combo. And this is important because of power-ups. If you ever get a combo of 20 or more, you will get a power-up. You can see what power-up the runner has in the little Pokeball over there. Combos are just one of a few different ways that you can get power-ups. You can get a power-up if you get a combo of 20. You can get a power-up if your score gets really high, but because we're speedrunning, we're generally not maxing our score, so that's going to be a less way of getting power-ups. And also, there are these, you may or may not have seen them, there are these fiery red blocks that appear on the ball occasionally. If you break one of those, you get power-ups. You can only hold one power-up at a time. And the power-ups, whenever you earn a power-up, you don't get a new power-up, you get your power-up upgraded. And you get that upgrade whether you want it or not. So if you wanted a level 3 power-up and you accidentally upgraded it to level 4, well, too bad, you're stuck with that level 4 power-up. The levels of power-ups, level 1 is the rocket, which you've seen our runners use to great effect already. That's just the purple-looking rocket thing. That just clears a little area of the ball. The level 2 power-up is the dynamite. That sprinkles around 5 little explosions, each that are a little bit smaller than a rocket. The magnet peels a little bit off the ball, but what's nice about the magnet, which Jammitch has right now, you can see the magnet, is that you can control its movement. So you can sort of whirl it around the ball specifically to peel out the area you want. The level 4 is the atom power-up, and what that does is it takes an entire, peel. It peels the whole ball, so it takes out the outermost layer. In this mode, that's not perfectly useful, because in this mode, we don't really want to peel the whole ball, we want to dig down deep. So you will generally not see the runners use that, except for very specific situations. The level 5 power-up...
Minecraft.
It kind of looks like Minecraft. The level 5 power-up is the bomb. It's like the rocket, but better. It goes deeper and wider. And the level 6 power-up is the laser. It fires 8 pulses, and much like the magnet, it is also movable. The last thing I want to talk about with power-ups is they do carry between levels. So a lot of times our players will build up their power-ups during easier levels and then use them on larger, harder levels. And woo! We're in episode 3 and that's all the gameplay mechanics. This game looks simple, but there's actually a lot of complexity to it.
I'm doing my best to follow along, but it's very difficult. Do you want to catch some water? Do I have some time for donations?
Please, I would love some donations, please.
Well, we have $5 from Rubicante, who says, donating to help get Beat Saber over the top. Also, with Toho coming up, wanted to donate if I could ask Sonic Mega to call me a cool Awutu in what his best guess as to what Reimu's voice sounds like. Well, I identify as male, so my female range is very limited, but if we translate it using the very, very accurate and professional Google Translate, we get
Wow, that was really good.
Pronzo donates $25 and says, "Good luck today, Jammitch. Also, let's get some hype going for Canadian Dragon's Beat Saber showcase." I like that we're already building the hype for a showcase that hasn't been met yet because we are that confident that we're going to meet it. I like that. I genuinely do. We have a $100 donation from Freckles, who says, "Greetings from Ash and Chip." I'm guessing, are these community folks? If not, I still appreciate their donation. Hello, Freckles. Hello, Ash and Chip. Thank you guys very much. And Octavia Davila donates $10. There is no comment, but I appreciate it. And finally, sorry, we just got a $150 donation from Ian Keith. It says, "I have to give give shout-outs to a top 2 Tetris game on the N64, no matter how not Tetris you might think it is. I may have been trying to max out NES Tetris in honor of this run, and since I haven't yet, I added to this donation as a penalty on myself. GG, go fast, and robot get."
To stress to you how close of a race this is, our runners just left episode 3, level 7, literally at the same time.
And to stress how close we are to this incentive, about how many minutes would you say we have left in this run?
Say about 20 minutes.
Chat, do you think we can raise $83 in 20 minutes to hit that bonus game 2 incentive for Beat Saber? Because we are at $1,917.11 out of 2,000, less than 100 away from having Canadian Dragon show us some Beat Saber.
Yeah, both me and Jammitch are big rhythm game fans, so any more rhythm games is good. So yes, talking about this not being Tetrisphere, or not being Tetris, this game is called Tetrisphere, and it's neither Tetris nor a sphere. It actually looks like a sphere because of an optical illusion, but it's actually, the gameplay is mapped onto a torus.
Interesting
So it is
fact.
neither Tetris nor a sphere.
Interesting facts I've learned. It was originally called just Fear with a PH, P-H-E-A-R. That was supposed to be on the Atari Jaguar, but then as you mentioned, Nintendo, got the rights to the game. Even though it ended up being delayed, it became the first puzzle game available on the N64.
Yeah, I'm actually impressed you knew all that. That was good. I was just about to mention that, actually.
I'm sorry to steal that from you.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'll also mention that the soundtrack to this game is amazing. I actually use it as background music in my personal streams because it's so good. It was by freelance music artist Neil Voss, who's only done a handful of video games, but like every video game he's done, it's been absolute banger of a soundtrack.
Apparently, he says it features only stereophonic sound because, quote, "for a game where the action is all around you, it could enhance gameplay and the immersive experience." And while it wasn't true surround sound, he was able to simulate it because of the way that the engine was.
Yeah, it's so good. I love the OST for this game so much. So since we got the 2 best runners here, I actually kind of want to talk about the techniques that each of them actually came up with. So for FFRPro, he made a technique. So a cool thing about power blocks is that you can raise them up, but he made a technique, I forget what they decided to call it, where you can quickly grab a power block, use it to start a combo, and then grab a block underneath it, but then shove it back. And this tricks the game into increasing your combo because it basically like doubles your combo, which is really good when you're farming up power-ups via score. So that was like FFRPro's big contribution. And then jammitch's contribution was what he calls the double drop. So you know how in puzzle games, you got, you never get the piece you want. You're like, oh,
Yep.
why do I have five T blocks in a row? So in this game, and he just did it as I said it, if you have 2 of the same block in a row, if you time it nicely, you can add both of the blocks to your combo. So you can burn, like if you get repeated blocks, like T block, T block, T block, you can
Right.
burn those 3 T blocks on the same combo and get those blocks out of your queue. So between the 2 of them in the last, I'd say 2 years, the time for this game has really, really gone down.
The fact that this can be so mechanically complex, and yet here they are both at 4-6 at the same stage, 15 minutes into this run, is incredible to me, because it feels like there's so many different ways that each of these stages could go.
They're actually very close. FFRPro is a little bit ahead, but jammitch is going to be out of 4-6 real soon now.
Has the community determined, do you start with the same blocks on every stage, or is it true RNG? Like, could you end up with different patterns despite doing the same stage at the same time?
I actually asked jammitch that question, and they don't know.
Well,
it's possible that the balls get so complex, it's hard to know. They definitely start you on a random spot in the ball. I think that much we've determined. So even if the balls are always the same, you're starting at a different point, so it might not look the same. But I don't think anyone's actually done the data mining on that yet.
Interesting. Well, here's some data I can provide you. We have an $83 donation from non-binary code that simply says, welp, there you go. And the reason why is because that $83 took us to $2,000.11 of the $2,000 goal. We are getting bonus game 2 Beat Saber. Congratulations, everybody. Let's go. I'm so hyped. I knew you were capable of doing it. I knew it was. I'm gonna be sitting here even after my host shift watching this. But hey, don't get too comfortable, because God bless our staff who managed to give us 3 extra incentives right away. We have a hard mode upgrade for Metroid Dread.
Hey, I'm gonna cut you off. Never
Go
mind.
ahead.
Never mind, because
Okay.
I forgot we're doing 1 through 5, so we still have 10 more levels. So never mind.
Okay. All right. Am I good to continue, or?
Yes, please continue.
Right. So we have 3 more incentives. We have hard mode upgrade for Metroid Dread. For those of you who don't know, hard mode makes the bosses hit even harder. Samus has even less health. Drops are less frequent. And we're already going to be working with very little to do this speed run, if not skipping some upgrades outright. That is $250 for the hard mode upgrade. Again, easily hittable long before we get to that game. We also have, it looks like a bid war for soundtrack choice for Mighty Number 9. And we also can choose whether or not to forgive Lisa on The World Next Door. So
I wanted to mention I gold split episode 4 just now, so I'm kind of schmoovin'.
Yeah, this has been fun to watch. Okay, so now FFRPro is moving into episode 5. Every ball in this episode has at least 3 pieces on it, and just like any other puzzle game, the more pieces there is, the harder it is to make combos. Also, every rescue hole, I guess I'm making that term up right now, is at least a 3x3 grid. So this is where the run starts getting really difficult. Also, I just think the robot is adorable.
these look like really fruity jawbreakers, and I just want to lick the sphere.
Okay, so my favorite sort of story about this game is, well, I forget of which event it was, but if you're aware of the Japanese Restream, it's a group that they restream a bunch of charity marathons in the Japanese language, and one of the Japanese not commentators, one of the chatters called this the apple peeling game, and we just thought that was so delightful that now whenever I talk to Jammitch about this game, I'm like, it's the apple peeling game.
Have you ever read online like people who viscerally describe like biting into an orange with your teeth without peeling it first while standing in the shower? This feels like the video game equivalent of that.
Okay. Okay. I don't know what to say to that.
I wouldn't recommend it. The orange peel does not taste good. He's a pro at peeling. Chad's like, he's a pro at peeling apples fast. Hiroyuki Sakai. Apple peeling Tetrisphere.
So unfortunately, Jammitch fallen a little bit behind there.
Yeah, my controller's bugging out a bit.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
I would like...
I'm getting D-pad jumps. Not helping.
Oh, well, another fun fact, this is one of the few Nintendo 64 games that exclusively uses the D-pad.
Ooh.
There is no analog stick in this game.
Like, it doesn't even register it if you try to use it as an option?
I believe
Won't let you. It will not let you.
Yeah.
I believe it's
the control stick doesn't do anything.
No, FFR was telling me that apparently you can use the Z button underneath the analog stick to drop blocks, as if that's a thing you would do while holding the D-pad.
Yes, because the Z button in this game acts as a second A button.
Very conveniently located away from anything you're actually trying to do.
So the one thing bad thing about striking out is that whenever you get a strike, whenever you make a missed combo, you actually lose your power-up, and this is true no matter what level your power-up is. So if you have a level, you know, you've spent a ton of time upgrading your power-up, and you have the highest level laser power-up, if you get a strike, you will lose that power-up, which is very sad when that happens. There is also, so going into this game has even deeper mechanics, I'm not even kidding. Because these runners are so good, it's never actually going to come into play, but you will see that in their little Pokeball, I like to call it, there is a little clock that goes up.
I did notice that. What's up with that?
So that is actually, it's a little bit of a rush mechanic so that you're not just sitting there not making combos. Our runners are so good that they're constantly getting enough combos to reset it to its blue state, which is like non-danger mode. If it leaves the blue state, it'll go to yellow state. And in yellow state, the balls will start zooming in.
Oh, no.
And in red state, it will zoom in even faster. And when you are in red state, if you don't get a combo fast enough, it will actually, the ball will bump into your camera and it will cause you to drop your current piece no matter where you are. Now, if you're lucky and you happen to have that piece above a valid combo, then you're fine. But obviously, if you're just somewhere on the ball where there's no combo and you get that bump, you will do a miss combo and you will get a strike.
Could you imagine that in VR mode? Like, I'm sure we've all had that moment where we like put a pencil near the space between our eyes and we feel our forehead tense up, and just imagining that ball getting closer and closer to your noggin while you're playing in VR. I'm already uncomfortable just thinking about it.
There's a reason they were going to name the game Fear.
Also, it was going to be P-H-E-R-E, so that it's a pun on sphere as well.
Of course.
So FFRPro in 5-8. We're actually getting to the end of this run. It's been tense. Jammitch has definitely caught back up a little bit.
And I've been told this goes up to round 9 or something like that.
The full, like, story mode, I guess you would call it, is 10 episodes. I believe each has 10 levels.
Okay.
We are just doing episodes 1 through 5 because, first of all, it's a more concise, fun race. And second of all, because, like, the full 10 episodes is a long time.
Is it one of those cases where, like, episode 10 alone takes more time than, like, episodes 1 through 6 combined or something like that?
Yes,
I wouldn't quite say that. It's about an hour 20 for the full game.
Ah, okay.
I know, it was FFRPro that did really, really long-a-thon, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I do remember that the longest category on this game was on really, really long-a-thon, which is a marathon, a speedrunning marathon for games that are too long. So that sort of gives you a feeling of how long the story mode of this game can go on.
The longest category, all episodes of hide and seek, is about a 3-hour run on a good day.
Okay, so FFRPro moving into the last level here. Unfortunately, that one little mistake from jammitch has put him a little bit behind. But this is Tetrisphere. It really isn't over until it's over. But we're gonna see our final robot buddy pretty soon here. Excellent use of dynamite. And the rocket. The rockets are nice because they are really easy to get. And in this mode, since you're digging deep down as far as you can, it could just nice to be, you know, just use a little rocket and get deeper.
We're coming for you, buddy. We're almost there. There we go.
There's just like one little corner.
Time.
And that is time for FFRPro. GG. That was a
Ooh.
fun race. jammitch is on 5-9, so that was still pretty dang close. That last
Ooh,
level, you do have
nice.
to dig out a 4x4. FFRPro, tell us about how it went.
Well, I gold split the last 2 episodes, so I was actually within a second of PBing, so I almost clutched it out. So it was really good.
Also, this I find this end of episode 5 cutscene very amusing. It's all our little, all the playable robot characters kind of trying their best and making mayhem.
They all want the spotlight.
You could tell that whoever made these cutscenes had a lot of fun with them. So 1 second off PP, that's really good.
Wow, that close?
Well, no, I thought that's what you said.
Yeah, well, I split say I was plus 0.8 after episode 5, so essentially a second.
That is heckin' good. Congratulations on that.
I'll offer a spoiler. I am not 1 second off PB.
You're doing great. jammitch now moving into 5-10. We'll be joining FFR shortly. Yes, as someone mentions in chat, this cutscene scene is unskippable, so when you're doing episodes 1 through 10, this is a great time for a bathroom break, is watching this cutscene.
Actually, something FFR found out is that the 7 selectable bots, they all have minorly different stats that don't really affect the speedrun, because they only affect when you drag things, and I spend all my time tapping. But they do have different cutscene lengths after episode 5, so you want to pick the bot with the shortest cutscene, because the stats don't really affect the run proper.
Yeah, although for me it played the long cutscene, which actually doesn't matter because we're only doing the first 5
I
episodes.
think that's a function of completing the file and time. So that was probably about a minute worse than any of my marathon practice. Things kind of got out of hand and my D-pad was messing up pretty good. But we made it work.
We love an underdog story.
Yeah.
Hey, any final thoughts from you two before we wrap up here and let the next runner take over?
So I'd like to thank the Tetrisphere community. Thanks, FFR. That's the Tetrisphere community. We'd love to have you, though. This is a really underrated puzzle game. The mechanics are ridiculously deep. So if this looked entertaining and you feel like you want a speedrun that's not glitchy, and that's all about seeing something and reacting as quickly as possible, and with actually surprisingly deep tech, come join us.
Yeah, we're always looking for new runners to try this game out. So if you love puzzle games, give it a shot.